Passive safety cues, and I would say also the passive danger cues, these things can, and I'm more focused on the danger cues, these things can build up. They can seemingly sort of build up and compile, and it's like one on top of the other. And that could be, I guess, a collection of safety cues that bring you up your polyvagal ladder. But what I'm more focused on right here are the collection of danger cues that bring you down your polyvagal ladder and out of your safety state. These are like just small insults to your system. And these are, again, passive. So small insults to your system, things that you probably don't control, or maybe you could. And we'll go over a couple examples, but things that you that are just kind of there. They're there in the environment. You may not have any control over them. I guess some of these you probably could. So one example would be like the sound of a heater or air conditioning in the background. Just those like hums, or like a refrigerator hum. Just those like sounds of traffic. In my office here, I take all these sounds out by the time this it gets published, but I hear traffic. There's a freeway off in the distance. It's not too far. Obviously, it's close enough for me to hear it. So that dull hum of the freeway, even in my office, which is pretty sound dampened, I still hear it when I'm sitting outside in the backyard. I can definitely hear just this dull hum of traffic. Now, is that enough for me to like get up and run away? No, but it definitely affects my system. If that sound were all of a sudden gone and there was actual quiet and I'm sitting in the backyard, the experience, the mindful experience of being in my safety state would probably be a lot higher. And that's probably why I noticed within myself that I have this big impulse to be in quiet. I really want, my wife and I, we want to buy like or even rent, I guess, but really buy though, like a cabin in the woods, just a place to go to escape from everybody and everything and all the sounds, and just kind of have actual quiet. We really want that, and we do not. You don't get that in the city, right? Sounds of the environment. That's one passive danger cue. It could also be other things in the environment, like lighting. When I go to work, I have bright white fluorescent lights that are everywhere, and that's just kind of the standard when you work at like a school district or probably in a hospital. Things like that. It's just white walls, probably. For me, it is white walls, bright white fluorescent lighting, and a little bit of a hum from that too. But those would be passive danger cues. Not something you really focus on or notice, but it does affect your system. Also, for me, outside my office, there's the sound of students and teachers. I do definitely have an AC. I definitely have a heater going that I don't control. There's a train that passes by a few times a day. So there's all of these passive things that happen I do not control, but they're just kind of there, and they absolutely affect my system. How about also people you see when you walk, through a store, or when you go into work, or when you're at work, and you see people with flat affect, people who are not smiling. Maybe they're not mean, but they just kind of have this blunted, like flat affect. Again, that's a passive kind of a danger cue, a small one. Now, it's not enough to get you to run away. Hopefully, it's not enough to get you to fight. But it does affect your system in just a teeny tiny little bit, like a little insult to your system. This is different than like probably things that are big insults to your system, where someone maybe is coming at you more aggressively. They do have an angry face. You do go to a job that you absolutely hate, and you feel that hatred, like you intensely cannot stand where you go to work. Maybe you have some family issues that are erupting, that are major issues that you cannot ignore. Maybe there's media that you choose to take in that are constantly giving you and saturating you in danger cues and be afraid of these people and hate these people. Those are probably, I would say, bigger insults to your system. They maybe be passive, not exactly, I wouldn't call them active. Maybe we could call them active because on some level you could choose to stop doing these things. You could choose to switch your media, right? So maybe there's some level of control you have here. So when I say passive danger cues, I'm not really talking about the big ones. I'm more focused on those small environmental pieces, things that come into you through your sensory experience that you probably don't have control. Maybe you do, but probably don't. By the way, if you're really enjoying this topic of safety cues, I have a course called Building Safety Anchors, which talks really in depth about this stuff and helps you to identify what brings you to safety, which is so important. It is so important for future trauma work. if you're going to delve into more difficult stuff, you have to be able to access and stay in your state of safety in order to deal with that stuff, to feel it, to talk about it, and on some level, even relive it. You have to be able to stay in your safety state in order for that to be successful. So I have a course that's called Building Safety Anchors that teaches you what safety is, how to identify it, how to mindfully exist in it, and it has 6 different paths that help you to get there. So on top of the exclusive video and resources that the course gives you, you can also be a part of a discussion group where people can go and ask questions or share their wins. And that's on justinlmft.com. That's also where you can go to buy the course or to find out more information about the course, justinlmft.com. You can also email me, same thing, justinlmft@gmail.com. This podcast is not therapy, not intended to be therapy or be a replacement for therapy. Nothing in this creates or indicates a therapeutic relationship. Please consult with your therapist or seek for one in your area if you are experiencing mental health symptoms. Nothing in this podcast should be construed to be specific life advice. It is for educational and entertainment purposes only. More resources are available in the description of this episode and in the footer of justinlmft.com.